Residential real estate agent of Meraki Realty, and we are on grant writing with Michelle on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, powered by Mike King Biz Media. And today I'm joined by two extremely important guests, two people that have been very vital in the success of my business. And so ladies, please introduce yourselves.
Well, I guess I should start by saying that the views and statements expressed are those of the speaker and are intended for the general informational and educational purposes only. Discussions regarding any financial information provided are not intended as individual recommendations and do not reflect the strategies, opinions, or advice of Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, LLC. The views expressed are subject to change at any time in response to changing circumstances in the market. Information deemed reliable but not guaranteed. All loans subject to income verification, credit approval, and property appraisal. Not a commitment to lend. Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, LLC, NMLS 72043, NMLSconsumeraccess.org is an equal housing lender located at 600 Lynn Parkway, Suite 100, Virginia Beach, Virginia 23452.
Good job! So now that we have all the legal,
I'd like to say for the record that
out of the way.
That was the first time I read that.
Well, you did fantastic. So Emily, tell us a little more about yourself.
So besides being an amazing speed reader, I'm also a residential loan officer in the Richmond area and branch manager. So Raimi and I are both branch managers at Atlantic Bay. We run the Richmond branch of loan officers, and we love to help people finance their homes and build wealth strategies surrounding buying houses. Raimi can probably add.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for the way you introduced. Like, you have been vital to our success too. So, regardless of who we are, like, I thank you for having us on today to talk about making an impact in the community. And the way we just happen to do that is by helping people buy homes and talking about wealth strategies, using their home as a financial tool. And I think it's just a different way to think about it. It's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. So what I love about you guys is, I think the reason why we work so well together is because we have the same kind of mindset and goals. So it's, yes, we're buying and selling and loaning on real estate, but it goes far beyond that for us. It's not just a job and not just transactions. And so I would love for you guys to tell everyone a little bit more about how you treat your clients, and how do you, instead of just lending a mortgage, what does that process look like when a client works with you?
I would probably start by saying that I think that everything that we do from our day-to-day is firmly rooted in the belief that homeownership is achievable for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Amen, girl.
I know that it can seem like an uphill battle for a huge segment of the population, whether you're a first-time home buyer or maybe have had challenges buying a house in the past, but we believe that investing in your home is a crucial tool to build wealth and just financial stability in general.
Yeah.
So no matter what your starting point is, no matter where you're coming from in life, I think our approach is just to meet you where you are and help you make a game plan that works with your financial goals. I firmly believe in treating everybody like they're my own brother, father, sister.
Yeah.
Like I treat people as if how I would want my mother to be treated if she was out there trying to buy a house, or my son to be treated on his first home buying experience. We try to make it a referable, good experience for everybody.
Well, and I think at the root of what we do, part of the reason we work at Atlantic Bay's tagline is lending peace of mind. And that's kind of the whole thing that as we're going through these consultations with people on day one or all the way post-closing, we're still talking to them. It's really about making you at ease with this process. And we're both moms, so I kind of feel like that is who we are at a core in our business as well.
You just take care of everybody.
Right? we just solve the problems.
Exactly.
Somehow we have 8 arms and we just get it done. And I think that is kind of our identity as loan officers is exactly what you're saying, treating people like family. And I don't know, it makes a big difference when you can look someone in the eye and feel like, at my core, I believe this is what's good for you. And they feel that, you know what I mean? And it puts them at ease. And it's not about you have to buy today. It's about coming up with that game plan. And we're going to be with you the whole process.
Every step of the way.
Yeah.
I think part of the thing that can be so scary about buying a house is people just don't know the rules.
Right.
Right. So empowering people with knowledge. There are thousands of loan programs.
Or they're so scared to take that step and they think, I'm not going to be able to do this. Well, knowledge is power. So if they can just get the information, most of the time we see like, oh wait, I can do this. And
I think people are scared of the no.
Exactly.
And
yes.
So many people have reached out to us and said, this is probably going to be like a year down the road, 2 years. I just want to you're probably going to tell me not today. And by the time you sit down and go through everything, you say, well, this is what we can do. Next thing you know, you've got them under contract and they're buying much sooner than they thought.
Exactly. And they're so grateful.
Yeah.
And I think you guys brought up some really good points. I just always love hearing you all speak because you put it in words that every human can understand. People just want people to care about them, right? And to talk to them like a human being, not, from a business perspective up here and you talk down and then it makes them feel even more overwhelmed about the process. Buying and selling houses and taking out, a big loan is a scary process. And when you talked about being genuine and that people feel that, that's why I love working with you. You make my job as a real estate agent easy because when I'm showing houses and I'm with those people day in, day out, that's how I am. And then when I send them to someone else and say, hey, call this stranger or submit this online
all your
everything.
personal information.
Right? It's like a blind date where it's like, give me your financials, and they're like, well, I have to do what? It's really scary. So knowing that I can give your phone number and your information and that they're going to be taken care of the exact same way, if not better, then that's a huge thing. And they're so grateful. And I think just your genuine care for everyone comes out, and I just am really appreciative of that.
We should do radio shows
I'm
more
blushing.
often.
I know, right? Well, so what can you say about the current market? Things are changing. We get our most asked questions on a daily basis from a lender perspective and agent perspective. What can you speak into about our current market? So we are September of 2024. Of course, there's big changes in the industry. But what have you seen? Is there changes or more people reaching out? More people want to buy and sell on your end?
I actually love the question, like, how's the market? And we've talked about this so many times because the how's the market is just that surface level question of someone who wants to have a conversation and just kind of be involved, but they don't actually know what to ask or things like that. And when you peel back the layers and you're kind of really looking at the root of their question, it's, well, why are you interested in the market? And
what part of the market
are you interested in?
Exactly. That's the key.
I feel like so many buyers specifically, because that's the majority of our business, the question is not how's the market. The question is, what can I afford? How is what's happening in the market impacting my affordability? And so I love that question because it opens up the doors for us to really dig deep into why are you reaching out. And I think at the end of the day, our conversations, I think what sets us apart specifically, I feel like we really try and the loan process has a qualification number. There's a maximum that any loan officer will be able to get approved, and we can finagle things and come up with strategies to get there. But the affordability isn't necessarily what can you be qualified for. The affordability is how do you live your life? There are so many things we don't look at in a loan qualification process that should be factored into you signing on the dotted line for a mortgage.
Absolutely.
My daycare expenses are over $1,300 a month. Like, that's a number that, a loan officer could approve me for something, but I might not be comfortable with that number.
Because they're not taking that
because we don't look at that,
Unless it's a VA loan.
Unless it's a VA loan. But I think those are the types of conversations that when someone's talking to us about the market, it's really about what can I afford.
Because regardless of what's going on in the market, people need places to live.
Exactly.
Right? So we can talk all day about treasuries and what the Fed's going to talk about this, but the reality is like you need a place to live. So are rates going to go up or down? I don't know.
And what's realistic for you versus the million other people that are out here. The overall market is so different per person and per situation.
And per price point that you're looking in and geographical location that you're looking in. I can tell you from my perspective as far as are things picking up, slowing down. I mean, we have a lot of pre-approved borrowers in our pipeline, and as well as every other realtor in this
Yeah.
market, inventory has been a little bit of a challenge.
Down.
So I feel like the buyer market is strong. Like there are people who want to buy houses and
I
continue to live inside. And regardless of what's going on with interest rates, rent is not going down,
Yeah.
No, it's
right?
going up.
So, but I think we have strong buyer appetite in the Richmond market. Affordability has been doing a little bit of a roller coaster, right? Like how much you can get for the cash or monthly cash flow that you have available to you. That fluctuates from day to day, but people still want to buy houses. People still want to live inside.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to that point, you know, we've seen, at least I've seen on my end, you know, we've had a lot of sellers and a lot of buyers that it's less of a want market that we're coming out of. It was more of a need. You know, did you need to buy or sell? You know, was an estate, a divorce, you know, a downsize, a relocation. You know, there's a lot of situations that are never going away.
Right.
People are always going to be switching jobs. Unfortunately, the fact of life is there's going to be estate sales because people pass away. You know, there's going to be divorce situations they have to separate, you know, those assets. So, you know, I also love that question because it doesn't
allows
matter.
you to
right.
probe so much deeper.
Yes, exactly. And to break it down. And I tell everyone it is your specific situation we need to be looking at. Stop worrying about everything else until you get that information. And you also brought up another good point about what you can afford. I talk about this all the time that I don't know how many clients come to me already pre-approved with another lender. And it's just like agents, you know, the bar is not the same for everyone. So, you know, we see situations where a buyer comes and says, oh, I'm pre-approved for $500,000, here's my letter. And I call that lender, or, you know, we're shopping and I say, you know, hey, what's their comfortable monthly payment? Well, I don't know. You know, they haven't figured that out. So yes, that client might be approved for X amount, but that doesn't mean,
It's going to come with some sticker shock.
Right, that they want to take on the monthly mortgage that comes with that price. So, you know, there are certain situations where we might be shopping $100,000 under the pre-approval amount.
Yeah.
So what I love is you ask those questions.
Well, and I think that's something we've incorporated into our spiel, if you will, like our conversation topics is, yes, you're buying a house. That's really exciting. I'm so happy for you. That's 4 walls and a roof and some doors and windows and you get to pick out paint. That's all the really cool stuff.
Yeah.
In my world, you're buying a debt. Like you need to understand the debt because you don't technically fully own the house until the mortgage is paid off. Like it's collateralized. So really understanding, I know the debt, the mortgage isn't as sexy.
That's like, we have that conversation a lot. Like Kristen has the sexy girl.
I know.
We're just
I get to be the happy one, like, look, you won. And then you're like, comes with this price tag.
Here's your monthly payment. But I think understanding those numbers before you put your name on any dotted line for any offer is so important.
But then also understanding the reality of, you know, this is your, I mean, generally speaking, I would say 90% of the loans that we originate is a 30-year fixed mortgage. It's kind of like the vanilla mortgage that I would say we originate most originators probably originate most of the time. But going through the exercise of saying like, this is your monthly principal and interest payment, that's not going to change. But you know what is? The value of your home. Value of your home is going to go up. Here's how much equity you can probably expect to have over the, you know, a 10-year period versus how high is rent going to go over, you know, over the next 10 years in juxtaposition. Like we also feel very passionate about spelling out, while you are assuming a debt, you're also taking on an asset and talking through how we can make that asset work for you depending on your goals. Are you going to be in this house for 2 years? Are you planning on being in this house for 10 years? Is this your forever home? Do you want to stop at this house, or do you want to eventually maybe expand your portfolio and buy some investment properties? Like creating a strategy depending on what your 10-year plan is important to us.
Absolutely, and that sets you apart, is caring about the whole big picture, breaking it down. It's not just, here's the number, put your offer in, and let's lend on the house, and then you go away. You're actually interested in breaking down the whole financial piece of their whole life, making sure that they're making those smart decisions, and then being a resource well after the transaction ends. You know, when 2 years later, if they have questions about their mortgage or whatnot, you say, pick up the phone and call me.
Hopefully
that sets
we've
you
heard
apart.
from you a couple times in the 2 years.
I hope so. Yes. So, well, thank you very much. I am so grateful for you guys, for my business of taking care of my clients and being a good business partner and a friend. One day we will count out how many transactions that we have closed together.
That's a lot.
I'd be very interested. Yes, it's been a lot. So you're tried and true. And I'm just grateful for everything.
Well, I mean, it goes right back at you. We couldn't do what we do without having. You mentioned it earlier. Not all realtors are created equally. Not all loan officers are created equally, and you set the bar high. And it's amazing when we get to work together.
Well, thank you. So tune in next week for a very special edition with Grant Writing with Michelle Rolland, and she has quite a few special guests. You won't want to miss it.